Hello, I'm Kimberly Powell, and this is Showbiz Mums, a podcast about mums working in theatre and how they juggle the chaos of parenting plus an 8-show week. We'll cover birth stories, pregnancy, and postpartum in the theatre industry, and discuss how to maintain a career whilst having kids, or at least trying to. We'll also open up the conversation of job sharing and why that can be beneficial. So join me as we speak to some amazing theatre parents and get some advice on this pretty niche subject matter, but something I'm really passionate about. Today, I'm speaking to Jackie Hughes. Jackie's credits include Mary Poppins, Groundhog Day, Clueless the musical, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. She played Elphaba in Wicked, as you do, and she's currently eating marmalade sandwiches 8 times a week in Paddington in the West End. Jackie has 2 boys, and we actually met years ago because we were both singing at a mutual friend's wedding up in Scotland and proceeded to have a fantastic night full of great drinks and an even better Kaylee. I've been following her career with admiration, and I can't wait to talk to her about how she makes the juggle work for her and her family. So, hiya, Jackie. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not too bad. So, are you still in rehearsals now, or is it all done?
Yes, we're still sort of doing lots of cover rehearsals and various rehearsals for different people in the show. So it's been full on. It's been sort of 6.5 months now since we started.
Oh wow.
It's been a incredible process to start something completely new and something so anticipated by everyone. But yeah, so it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, but extremely tiring, especially with 2 kids.
Well, yeah, sure. You've done quite a few like original creative workshops and then gone in, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I did the Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry last year.
Yeah.
I didn't do the workshop, but I managed to kind of sneak in for
Nice.
its first outing, really, its first pilgrimage, which was really, really special. And then Paddington, so I've sort of managed to get
Oh.
2 in the 1 year, which has been lovely.
Amazing. Really nice.
Yeah.
So, right. So then just take us back. When you were first trying for a baby, were you in a show? Were you working?
No, so I just came off of the tour of Wicked, straight back from Asia, and I think by then I was so utterly exhausted. I thought, why not? Let's try for a baby. Maybe that'll make me stop working. But we were very ready. So yeah, we started trying. Gosh, quite quickly as soon as I came back. Which was like the June, but then we didn't. It took us about 6 to 7 months to fall pregnant.
Okay.
With our first. Yeah.
I feel like as well, doing Elphaba, there's an element where you're like, I've kind of reached peak career. Or
Yeah,
it seemed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, that was the absolute dream to play Elphaba and to then take her around the world.
Wow.
Not many roles for me would sort of, trump that, I guess.
Yeah.
So by then I'd sort of, had anything else happened, it was just a bonus.
Yeah.
In terms of career, I was like, no, I'm sort of satisfied and fulfilled with having played that role. Huge tick, and the rest is just a Brucey bonus, really. Which is
A Brucey bonus. That's a really good way of doing it, because then you're like, yeah, me and my husband, we had the discussion, and you, go from there.
Yeah, because I guess it's sort of, it takes you, for me, it's, I made the decision that I couldn't really tour again, which of course takes you a huge part of the industry. And it's only really now that Chichester, that was, 10 weeks. But what was lovely is we had Sunday, Mondays off. So it was very family friendly.
Great.
So it was five working days, the extra matinee, but I could still be at home 3 nights a week. So it was really manageable, actually. And of course, being a short contract, I was like, we can do this. And we did. We all kind of smashed it.
Oh, that makes such a difference, getting that extra day. Do you prefer doing shorter length contracts than a 12-month?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it sort of changes. After having the boys, I went back into Mary Poppins both times. And it was lovely to feel settled, to know that I had that contract. But then, of course, COVID struck, so it was quite a short contract anyway.
Sure.
And then with Murray, Poppins was sort of closing 6 months later. So I then came out, and shorter contracts seemed more manageable because I could have some time at home.
Right.
Being mum, I mean, I was still teaching in the evening, but then I could then go and have a bit of me again.
Yeah.
And it felt like a nice balance. So this is really the first time since having both boys that I've gone back into a long-term contract.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So how was your pregnancy?
First one was, I mean, kind of textbook really until 37 weeks, where we discovered that I had gestational diabetes.
Oh.
And it was all it was quite traumatic from then. I was induced, and then it was like a 36-hour labour.
Oh.
And then Cooper got stuck on the way out. So that was quite traumatic. He had a bit of shoulder dystocia because he was a big baby.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
But then fine. And then Murray, again, of course, you have a big baby and they often say the next one's going to be bigger, which he was. So I opted for the C-section. So,
Oh.
which in turn, then the recovery's a bit tougher, isn't it, with the second? So,
Yeah.
yeah, both very different actually. Murray, I felt kind of from like 30 weeks, I really struggled. I wasn't working through either of my pregnancies. And I really struggled. Like it took such a toll on my body.
Oh yeah.
And I think because he was such a big baby as well, I was just like, oh, come on, out you get.
Oh, you
So
get.
he came out, get out. So he came out at 38 weeks. And he was even bigger than Cooper at full term.
How
So,
much did he weigh?
well, he was 9'8" at 38 weeks.
At 38.
Yeah.
God, good job you didn't go
Yeah.
so long.
Well, no, he came out and I was like, oh my God, it's a full blown toddler.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Literally.
And Cooper
Oh.
was 9'7", so they were like the same size when they were
Yeah.
born,
Big
really.
boys.
But big boys, yeah. Hungry
Yeah.
boys.
Good. Okay. And then postpartum, how did you find so yeah, two different recoveries as well, I guess.
Two completely different. Cooper, of course, you're sort of, for me, it was kind of first time you kind of feel like indestructible, really. You sort of
Yeah.
run that, you're like, yeah, I can do this, and I went back to work after 4 months, which was crazy. I went into a panto schedule. That was crazy, yeah. Wouldn't advise that again.
No, good for you though.
But ultimately, I mean, it was up in Edinburgh, so my mum and dad could have Cooper mark him up for the weekends. I was there kind of during the day, came in with me, and it felt really manageable. And then Murray was a completely different recovery, having the C-section. I really struggled actually, and again trying to that sort of the dreaded mum guilt with trying to give Cooper the same attention, if not more. Whilst you're kind of nursing this teeny baby. But I took 10 months to go back to work after Murray. And I was in Poppins at the time, so I was off on maternity.
Okay.
And I have to say, I was so supported. They were incredible.
That's amazing to hear.
Absolutely outstanding. With regards to sort of, because it was coming out of COVID, so we didn't quite know how it would work out. And they were like, great, we'll just get a maternity cover. Oh, fantastic. Didn't even think that would be an option because essentially the contracts had to start again.
Right.
So then they were like, yeah, just let us know when you have the baby. We'll start your maternity from then. Fantastic.
Oh my God, that's
I
amazing.
didn't have to go in because they just started rehearsing. They were like, look, we don't want you coming in. They were honestly fantastic. Then I then started doing some kit days. I could take the baby in. Murray came in with me and we watched the show, watched rehearsals, had a bit of time backstage, and then gradually sort of went back. But very fortunately, one of my dear friends was resident director. And I remember turning up on the first day, coffee in hands, and he went, "You all right, pal?" And he went, 20 minutes, then come back to me. I was like, okay. You just have that sort of the anticipation of it all. And then you get there and you go, oh God, right. Can I even do this now?
So emotional.
And then we went, yeah. And then we went into rehearsals. I remember it was me and Louis Gaunt waiting to start. And within kind of 4 days, I was back on the show. It was mad.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's the age gap between the boys?
Gosh, oh my God, can't remember. 3 years. Who knows? 3 years.
Yeah, God, that's quite nice then. But like you say,
Yeah.
difficult when being pregnant with a toddler and then trying to manage the two of them. I'm finding that hard now, trying to give both the same amount of attention.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I remember when we came home with Murray, and Murray was, tiny, and Cooper was so like, oh my gosh, my baby brother. And my mum and dad were down helping out whilst Mark went back to work. And Cooper was he was quite cheeky to my mum and dad, like, go away. Like he was, and I thought, gosh, this is really, he wanted me, like,
Yeah.
all of the time and my attention, and no one else could kind of interfere with that. So it was really then gradually, of course, he sort of accustoms to Murray, and he's like, actually, he's pretty cool. He's all right. We'll keep him.
Yeah, we'll keep him. He can stay.
I'll keep him. He'll do.
Yeah, we had a similar thing. Like all she wanted was me. And then because for that first month, my husband got paternity for, a month, then they got really close. And then she almost was like, actually, no, I'm good. Because I'm giving all my energy to the baby. And I was like, oh no, where's she gone? She'd been my shadow for the first 2 years. And then you're like, oh God.
Yeah. It's a hard, it's a
crazy.
funny old time, isn't it? To sort of all of a sudden you're having to not split it, but you do feel like you're torn kind of both ways, really.
Yeah. And even now, like, because she's older, I feel like we just go wherever she's got plans, and then he just has to come along. And I took him to a class, these like music classes the other day, and I was like, oh God, good for you. Like trying to watch him do other things with children his own age. I was like, God, I really need to do this more often just to have like an awareness of where he's at.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, Murray was the same. He just kind of came along, and I actually didn't really do a lot of classes. Well, I did when he was little, but essentially we just kind of went where Cooper went, and that was that.
Yeah.
And he just in the buggy, like, let's go. Let's,
I think it's good for them, though.
So chilled.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think you sort of, I know with Cooper, I was, so hands on, but with Murray, I'm just certainly a bit more chilled. I was like, do you know what? We'll get there. You've lost a sock. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Totally.
We'll find it. And definitely doing a lot more drives to the drive-through Costa.
Now we're talking.
Honestly, literally every day. I think they knew me by name.
Great. Oh, okay, yeah. So you went back around 10 months straight into Mary Poppins, and that was 8 shows a week.
Yes. 8 shows a week, yeah.
How was your body? Were you just feeling? Did you feel it, or were you?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, I was all right. I think because they'd kind of come out of rehearsals, so it was generally just a show. But then, of course, you've got covers to relearn, so I had to then go in and do all that.
Yeah.
And my good friend Amy, she was playing Mrs. Banks at the time, and she had some time off. She was expecting as well, and they said, right, Jax, you're going to have to learn this. And I wasn't previously covering it.
Oh.
I covered it years ago on the UK tour. I was first cover for Mrs. Banks, but this was like a new cover that kind of I'd taken on just before COVID struck. So I had to kind of relearn that, and I'll never forget. She had some time off, so I had Tech Act 1, Tech Act 2, and on I went to play Mrs. Banks. Yeah, and I was like, oh. But what was so lovely was I mean, you just kind of do it, don't you? It's more your brain, I think, that with the tiredness and you think the brain fog, and you think, oh gosh, I don't even know what the words are.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
I don't know what just happened, but you kind of. For me, certainly having children, I've had to worry less about that and actually just be, rather than I don't have time to worry. So you end up you give a much more honest performance, personally. But what was so lovely was going back to cover it as a mum.
Oh yeah, of course.
It was so special. And completely unlocked kind of different feelings and emotions, and it was really, really special. I never ever thought I'd get the chance to do that. So it was really, really special.
How lovely. What a great point.
Yeah.
God, do you know, I found I even was teaching a workshop. It was last year, but I hadn't taught since having kids. And I just went in at, one of these random like 3-hour things. And I noticed I was so different as a teacher since becoming a mum.
Yeah.
It is so different. And I don't know why, I'm way more compassionate. And it made me think, God, I was so strict before. But then you get results. But you don't, God, it made me think back. And I was like, oh, geez.
I'm the same. I'm way more fun.
Right? Oh, man. And then you carried on with Mary Poppins?
Yeah, we carried on until I went back kind of August time.
Okay.
And then we carried on. We finished in the January, I think.
What a lovely show.
Oh, gosh, do you know what? It was magic. And I think I'd had such a long journey with it. I toured with it back in 2014, 15. And I left early to go and play Elphaba. So I never finished it. So I did 10 months. I never finished it. And I thought, gosh, I'd love to go back. So then when it came around again, would you come in to audition? I was like, yes, absolutely. I was very fortunately offered the job again. to play the same role that I'd played before. But it was just lovely to go back. And then of course COVID struck, and I thought, I'm never going to finish this show. I'm never going to finish this a contract on Poppins. So finally to finish it was a real sort of,
Yeah, full circle, yeah.
full circle. Yeah, it was really special.
Oh, brilliant. So as the boys then got older, did
Yeah.
you adjust to what you would take? Or I suppose in this industry, you just kind of, when an audition comes up, you're just
Yeah.
like, you go in and you
Well,
see what happens.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Poppins finished on the whatever it is, the Sunday, and I had my Groundhog Day audition on the Monday.
Wow.
So we went to, you go to the party, you think I'll have a few wines, and I was like, no, here I am trying to learn a Tim Minchin song. So it never ends. So I went in, and again, really lovely experience with Groundhog Day. I was so, so, so lucky to get that job. It was magic. But again, we'd booked our family had booked a holiday on a cruise, and I had to pull out. So Mark took the
Oh,
boy to the ship, and this, you sort of make these decisions thinking, God, am I doing the right thing? You know, but it felt right, and it really was the experience of a lifetime. And of course, that mum guilt absolutely gets you when it's good. But the boys had a great time. We FaceTimed every day. Mark was absolute super dad. He's unreal. I couldn't do it without him. Um, but it felt right, and this job was so special and opened lots of doors, and the experience and the learning, and to work with the incredible team that we had was absolute gold dust.
you've done
um
such amazing jobs. Like, really cool. Just thinking about each one there, going from Alphabet into Mary Poppins into Groundhog Day, and now you're in Paddington.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
that's why it's hard to defend the experience sometimes, to particularly to people that aren't in the industry, and they'll look and they'll say, well, hold on, you've missed this, or you've missed the cruise or bedtimes or whatever, and you're like, I can't explain to you what it's like to be a part of this life and this production even.
Yes, and I think, yes, we do miss things, but I think regardless of what you're doing, you're going to miss things. But
True.
I think we as performers, or creatives, we put so much pressure on ourselves because we love what we do.
Hmm. Yeah, totally.
We absolutely love it, and we crave it, and it fulfills us. And sometimes we have to fulfill ourselves to fulfill others. And I know that I've had conversations with Cooper now that he's a bit older, and I said, mummy leaves to go to work, and he said, yeah, but you love what you do, mummy, and you make other people happy. And the fact that he can see that, and I always say, you have to do what you love regardless of how hard it is. Sometimes we have to make those decisions. But if mummy needs to be home, mummy will be home. you
Yeah,
know that you're all my number one, and that's
yeah.
and as long as as long as we're transparent with each other, we all know where each other stands. Murray for a while used to think he just thought I worked on the train. He was like, mummy, off on the train again. I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, what's lovely is now that I'm at Paddington, mummy's off to work with Paddington there.
That's
So
it's so
you know,
inspiring for them to watch you do it.
yes, and yeah, they came on Christmas Eve. And it was magic. They
Oh,
had so many questions, and they just couldn't believe it. It was really, really special.
is that the first show they've seen you in?
Hooper saw me in Poppins when
Oh,
he
wow.
was 3.5, 4, yeah. And he just couldn't believe it. But he sat for three. It's a long show, and he sat for 3 hours with his goddaddy and granny, and he came back to meet us, and he was just like, "Gosh, I had this huge pink costume on, pink wig, and he was just like, Mummy." And I
Mummy?
couldn't believe it. But then he sort of understood. He was like, "Oh, this is what you do."
Mm.
Um, and then Murray came to watch me for the first time in Panto last year in Southampton with Diversity, and heckled us all the whole way through. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was great.
Incredible.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. There are days when I think, "Oh my God, what am I doing?"
Oh, yeah.
And it feels impossible. But the Mark, I have to say, is so supportive, and really takes, obviously has to do all the evenings, 5 evenings a week. But I think that's it. It's teamwork, isn't it? And you have to compromise. And I think we work well with that. And the boy, as I've said, we're so transparent, and the boys understand they as much as they can. But we look forward to holidays, and we look forward to our time together. But I think regardless of whether you're working in an office, if I was working in an office, I'd be leaving at 6 in the morning. So I'd miss the mornings, whereas I can get the mornings with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and also the holidays. They, like next week's half term, and I know I'll get to spend all my days with them.
Totally.
I don't have to worry about going to work or booking time off work. It's just, from 3 o'clock onwards or whatever. So it works. I think every family, you whatever your kind of is thrown your way, you make it work for you and your family.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. It's once the setup works, like the routine works for everybody, then
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it.
And when I'm not performing, I'm usually teaching, which again is I've made it in the evening, so the boys' schedule never changes.
Right. Yeah.
Or it is the same person picking them up on the Monday. I would do the Tuesday. Granny does the Wednesday, Thursday. Do you know what I mean? So
Totally.
everything is consistent for them, and that was my main thing. And I'd be coaching in the evenings or during the day or whatever. But it works for now. That might change, but at the minute that's working, and of course it will change as they get older. And
How old are they now?
7 and 4. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Good. So, do you have a career highlight?
Gosh, I mean, Elphaba was huge. That was I think 'cause I'd spent so long with Wicked, and sort of worked. I was second cover to begin with, and then went off as standby, and then to be offered the role was just absolutely life changing. And actually, if I'm really honest, still can't quite believe it happened, but it did. And it was magic. But I think I know this sounds really silly, but just I feel so lucky to still be doing what I'm doing whilst being a parent, and to still do something that fulfills me and that I feel so passionate about, despite it being hard. But regardless, everything is hard. Every job for me is a highlight. And I know that probably sounds really, well, but like for last year working in Chichester, that was huge. Working at the Old Vic, that was a huge thing. Working on a brand new British musical in London, in the West End. I feel so very lucky to still have these opportunities, and keep investing in them and in me and my kids, and feel so inspired by so many other parents working in performing arts as well. We have quite a few on Paddington, and it's amazing. You
Yeah.
feel so supported, and watching yourself and so many others just absolutely smashing it out. Like and having to make these decisions and going, gosh, yeah, I can make this work. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, talking of who you're working with, I always remember seeing Victoria Hamilton Barrett in The Heights years ago.
Yeah.
And she was so heavily pregnant. And I remember then, it wasn't even on my radar getting pregnant or anything
Yeah.
like that. And just thinking, oh my God, she had that tight red dress. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is iconic. And
Iconic.
yeah. And then I remember thinking, God, I'd love to do a show pregnant. And then I did. And,
Yeah, like women are amazing.
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But okay, and is there a parenting highlight? This is such a vague question. But is there a moment
Yeah.
where you're like, actually, this was a really
I
nice
think
moment?
um I don't know. For me, like a highlight, like just waking up in the morning and having them running and give you a cuddle, or mummy. I think that's it. That's the highlight. It's every day. It's just
Yeah.
saying, mummy, I love you.
All the small things.
That's it. Just it's so simple.
Yeah.
And, watching them play and watching them just, and argue, not quite the highlight, but it's, I think just the littlest things of, I love you, mummy. I love you, daddy. And them feeling safe. That's safe and loved. That's all I want, really.
That's all you need. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like you had a really positive experience, particularly in Mary Poppins. But is there anything that you think, support-wise, you could get more from the industry, or if there've been jobs?
Yeah. It's, I think, as I was saying, the 5-day week when we were down in Chichester that was the ideal for me.
Yeah.
Having the 2 days off, 3 nights. That was the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Not ideal having to be away from home. But I think it's more just the prep, like the rehearsal schedules. So knowing maybe a few weeks in advance what you're going to be doing rather than the week before, because like for childcare, or if it just gives you a little bit more breathing space. But I've never, touch wood, so far been met with any problems really. If I've had, for the kids' sake, and I've had to take a day off, I've been very lucky, and I think honesty is,
Yeah.
on our part, and not hiding it, and just go, look, I do have caring responsibilities. I am a mum, and I need some time. When we started Paddington, Murray was starting school, and I was like, is there any chance I could have just the morning off I'll be in? And they were like, Yeah, absolutely no stress. Like you can't miss these things, you know. So I got like the first 3 mornings of him starting school. I went in a bit later, but everyone has been so accommodating and understanding. It's hard with the schedules, show schedules being weekends, but I've got friends who work in retail that work weekends.
Yeah.
You know, there's no ideal, and you just have to make it work.
And ultimately, we're used to it, you know, like that's been our setup for a long
Yeah,
time. So,
yes, it's no different to the, you know, it's no, the boys don't know any different.
yeah.
You know, when I was younger, my dad worked in Israel for 3 years, and I'd only seen him in the school holidays, but
Yeah.
that was fine. That
Yeah.
was normal. You know, as I said, every family is so different, and you do what works for you. You know, I know a lot of friends that obviously there's the job share, which is fantastic if you can make it work. Brilliant. Gosh, how incredible.
Yeah.
But I've not experienced that yet.
Yeah. But, you know, you're right. I think the happy medium, in a way, because also job share is great, but then, you know, it's half the time, half the pay and all that kind of thing, trying to make that
Exactly.
work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, the 5 days and the 2 days off, that's when you're like, you know what,
I
this
mean,
is
that would be, oh, that would be absolute luxury, that.
really nice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
great.
and some companies are doing that,
Yeah,
you know, which is fantastic. And also gives it, regardless of whether you have caring responsibilities or not, still gives you as a performer 2 days to recoup and to rest vocally. And, you know, it's
yeah, totally.
but here we are. But again, you know, gosh, I just think we're just so lucky to do, as I said, to still do what we do with these extra bundles, you know,
Yeah, so
to
lucky.
so lucky.
Great. Well, I mean, it's so nice that you're so positive anyway, but it's so good to hear good stuff about the
Yeah.
industry and about your experience and parenting while, you know, doing it alongside. Because
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are days when we're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? This is hard. And the boys are feeling a bit, you know, a bit under the weather. And, you know, but I'm so lucky. And of course, the support of grandparents as well. Often when I start a rehearsal process, my mum and dad come down from Scotland and they
Amazing.
help. You know, they cook the dinners. I've got my lunch and the boys are fed and the washing's done. And, you know, it just takes
Oh,
that. And
I need to
Mark's
get me
parents
some
as
of
well.
them.
I know. Gosh, I'm so lucky. And Mark's parents are the same. They, you know, everyone kind of chips in. So I feel kind of, I'm very lucky to have that support network. Otherwise, I don't think I could make it work.
Sure.
But again, it gets easier as the boys get older. You know, they're both in school now. So again, the cost of childcare isn't as high
Yeah.
because that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You know, that's extortionate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's just
Thank you for having me.
I mean, it's so random, but I just feel like I do just like knowing what people do. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
seeing
yeah, yeah.
how it works.
So yeah, because I mean, everyone is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. And especially, you know, friends of mine that are both in performing arts, I think, my God, how do you make that work? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible. People that do make it work and they're, you know, the choices and loads of dads that I'm working with as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, and you see them like, God, I've just been swimming this morning. I think, oh, geez, oh, you know, like the dad spent 2 hours in the pool. I'm like, oh, rather you than me, you know. But yeah, it's amazing. And I think, you know, just as people that are managing to do it, absolute hats off to them.
Yeah.
It's a whole different beast.
For sure. No, brilliant. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Jackie. Thank you.
Right, no
Really
worries.
appreciate it. Right,
Yes.
have a good night off. There we
I
go.
will, thank you.
Enjoy. Big thanks to Jackie there. What a great chat and what a great career. I failed to mention Jackie's also a performance coach at Prep Your Rep, and I meant to ask her about it, but I think I got too excited when we were chatting. But I know that, like a lot of parents, and actually actors in general, she's got her fingers in lots of different pies and is always on the go, whether it's teaching or performing or obviously parenting. But thanks again for listening. Next episode, we're on to episode 10 of this series. So, well, genuinely, thanks to anyone that's listening and has listened to a few. I'm really enjoying the conversations, even though I'm still wondering how this all came about. I think I was going into work one day and I was like, oh, I fancy doing a podcast about mums in the theatre. And then I said it out loud in the dressing room. And, you know, when you've said it out loud, you kind of have to do it. So then I was like, all right, I've got to see this through now. Otherwise I look like an idiot. But I didn't expect that I actually would. So episode 10 next week. Thank you for joining me and thanks for being here. And hopefully you're enjoying them too. It's just nice to have chats and see how everyone's making it work. See you next week.